Hey guys, sorry if I'm a little tired. I wanted to, it's like, it's 12:48. Normally I'm up longer anyways, but today I'm just wiped out for some reason. I stayed up all night last night playing as Banjo-Kazooie in Smash Bros. Because that just came out. And then I've stayed up a little longer than expected because I was playing as Banjo-Kazooie and Sans in Smash Bros. And then we played Super Kirby Clash. Videos for all of these things will be on YouTube in about a month or two. Some of the stuff will come early, but like for the rest of what I've done, what I've done currently anyways, that'll be in a few months. Maybe even just a month or a week or something like that. But anyways, this is not what you came here to. You didn't come here to hear my life story. Shit. So what you actually came for was to see my opinions, probably, or maybe you just are bored. I don't know. Or maybe you wanted to inform your own opinion. I do that sometimes. I didn't in this instance, but you know when I don't know. It seems really bad to have an opinion informed by something else, but whatever. Ow, my eye hurts. So. But, Arrow Season 1. Let's go. So, I was watching all of the ArrowVerse shows on Netflix, as I do. Back in chronological order since I finished up the latest seasons on Netflix. And, so we started off with Arrow Season 1. I know I did this review like 3 times, but this time I'm sticking with it. I ain't got any excuses this time, so... Not at the moment, anyways. But, with Arrow Season 1, it starts off really well. I think halfway through it kind of goes down a little bit, but then it goes back up. And the highs at the end of the season are way higher than the highs at the beginning of the season. And the lows of the end of the season are higher than the lows of the beginning of the season. So, but anyways, it starts off with a few, like, you get the intro, but, you know, because this is the first episode, the intro is linked to the actual episode rather than just being something that occurs at the beginning of each episode. So Oliver's on the island and he gets picked up. He calls Moira his mother, and that doesn't really set the tone very well in my opinion. I guess what else are you gonna do? What does kind of set the tone a bit better is you know, Oliver and Tommy talking, and then they get kidnapped by well, not kidnapped, but you know, abducted by these thieves or whatever with wearing masks that are somehow connected to the big bad of the villain, which at this point we don't know. That sets the tone up really well. Oliver also just kind of has like a little bit of a funny moment. He's like, Robin Hood saved us, and then he becomes Robin Hood, and that was interesting. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have the Arrow pop figure be the thumbnail for this thing, the season 1 pop figure. Just realized that, so whatever. But we see a surprising amount of interesting villains this season. We have Huntress, maybe more of an anti-hero, but right now I think she's leaning closer to being a villain than a hero. However, anti-hero is still something in between, so I guess I'll just use the term anti-villain because she's closer to a villain at this point in time. But you have Helena Bertinelli, who in the comics I'm pretty sure is Helena Kyle, which is Huntress, but, you know, it's Batman and Catwoman's daughter. Forgot the word for daughter for a second. And I could be wrong on that. Helena Kyle may be someone else. I'm pretty sure that's a character, though. But Helena Bertinelli... Helena Kyle could be someone else, but I'm pretty sure that's the same character. I know Helena Bertinelli is a name in the comics, too. So I think maybe they're the same character, they just have different names in different universes or something like that. And if it's not the comics, I know it's in the Batman Beyond show. But anyways, we have Huntress, We have Slade is actually introduced this season. I'm not going to say who he is, but you guys know who he is. Because I am the average TV going audience. I'm a casual apparently. I don't know who Deathstroke is. I mean Slade. I don't know this. So do not spoil it in the comments because I obviously haven't seen the entire series or anything. Uh, but yeah, Slade is introduced, and oh, my cats are fighting. Well, they're playing, but they're fighting. Simba's got an ear. But Deathstroke, Slade is introduced, and he's kind of Oliver's buddy on the island. I'll come back to this whenever I do the Arrow Season 2 review, because this is kind of a cool point that I wanted to make. But I can't really do that here. But the flashbacks on the island are really just about all of the bad things that happened to them. There's not really a good story reason that they're there that I can think of. Aside from introducing important characters and important motivations, Slade is sort of helping Oliver help Yao Fei, and then Slade kind of goes off the deep end and is like, you know what, I'm gonna nuke this whole place, and fires straight to hell. And Oliver's like, well, no, Yao Fei. Slade's like, hey, I don't care. Oliver's like, no, Yao Fei. And then Slade is just like, why are you reading yourself? And then they go. We get a badass Slade versus Billy Wintergreen moment. Billy Wintergreen is wearing an orange and black mask. Ooh. Also, they used shadow and special effects for foreshadowing. One scene I remember, Slade had his head at an angle, and his eye was covered. We also see Billy Wintergreen get a knife through his eye. But Slade's eye was covered by like a shadow, by the way, I mean. So yeah. Big bad of the season was Malcolm Merlyn. I thought John Barrowman did a good job. Tommy Merlyn, my favorite part of the season, though. Well, not my favorite, but one of my favorites. I'm surprised Tommy Merlyn didn't come back all that often after season 2. Or after season 1. I mean, yeah, like, spoilers, he freaking died, but... Well, then again, I guess there was no precedent for people dying and coming back in this show at the time. You had a few characters who were like, oh, I'm not really dead, I think. But I can't think of an example at the moment. But you had a few characters who were like, oh, I'm not really dead. But you most definitely had... There most definitely had not been any sort of resurrection or another Earth thing. But yeah, we'll get to Tommy later. And for the crossover that occurred this season, we had... That's weird. There's nothing. That's a glitch. I'll have to fix that in the review later. Yeah. The crossover was non-existent because there was nothing to cross over with. But in terms of heroes, I really like seeing how Oliver had some character development and character growth. With Arrow, they had the whole Oliver killing people thing, not as well, okay, partly shock value, but not only shock value. They had character growth intended from the start, it seems, because Felicity is constantly nagging him about the whole killing thing, and Diggle is not a fan either. So it seems like they were trying to build something in terms of character growth. And by season 2, they definitely did that. But we're not talking about season 2 right now. So, basically, the flashbacks are about Oliver's pain and his suffering on the island, while also being about how he learned to use a bow. Like, he doesn't really ever figure it out until the final episode. Final episode or semi-final? I don't know. I don't friggin' know. In terms of either the semi-finale or the finale, that's when he learns to use the bow. Otherwise, he had just been kind of roughing it up. And getting roughed up, too. We see Yao Fei confess to destroying an airplane. And then he died, so I will admit I wasn't really focused during that part. I was kind of distracted, so I don't really know what happened. The next thing I noticed, the next thing I know, everything's on fire, and Fires has Shadow. So, but he killed Yao Fei and made him confess to blowing up an airplane to destabilize the economy. And in season 3, I think it is, it's revealed that the one who did that was Amanda Waller. Again, though, we're not talking about another season. We're talking about season 1. So, but I thought everything was really done well. All of the special effects were really good because they didn't have to do anything over the top. They had a few over the top moments, but for the most part, it was all pretty realistic in my opinion. I can't really find anything to critique. Oh, except for the stuff that happened between Tommy and Laurel. I still think that Tommy is one of the most tragic characters. But, and that's because of what happened. But the reasoning behind what happened, I didn't care for at all. The reason why it happened, I didn't care for at all. Like, Oliver's the vigilante, that made sense. But the whole thing with him and Laurel, that was just ridiculous in my opinion. It wasn't all bad. I still found it pretty entertaining, but I was like, what, you think I'm a teenage girl or something? What? I don't care for this. So, yeah, and I kind of like the cliffhanger. It's not really a cliffhanger, because you know exactly what happens. Oliver failed. But it sort of teases you about, like, oh, hey, what happens next? The finale, it ends with Tommy dying after saving Laurel. And then we see Quentin and Laurel looking at the crumbling building as the city crumbles behind them. And then it goes to credits, so abruptly. That was the original Infinity War, let me tell you. No, those two are not on the same level at all, actually. But, Infinity War is way better, just in case someone wants to twist my words. But yeah, it's a good season. There's not a whole lot for me to nitpick, but I just think that a lot of the stuff in season 2 was way better. I think the flashbacks were handled way better. Of course, I don't know this at the moment because I haven't rewatched it. And again, we're not talking about another season. Why do I keep doing that? But I already think I know what my opinion is going to be on season 2. It was my favorite season for a while. But, so I think I'm going to give season 2 a higher rating whenever I do the review. I don't know for a fact, but I think. However, this season itself gets an 8 out of 10. Still amazing, but it could be better. Like 2 points better. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. 2 points better. So, yeah. My cat just sneezed a deadly sneeze. That was a sneeze. So yeah, I gotta go do the laundry now since that's what the noise was. My dryer finished up first, and then my washer finished up second. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go back and watch Arrow, Season 2, Episode 1, City of Heroes. And I'm gonna work on my Arrow Season 2 review eventually, probably. I don't know. Whenever I feel like it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm tired as hell.